Hi there, Elaine here from Chid Kids Crafty Corner here in my little corner of Kent. Today I am bringing you my first layout of Scrapaholix kit from the October 2025 Scrapaholix from the Mad Scrapper. She's based up in Scotland and has a very good range of crafty bits and pieces if you'd like to have a look at her website. So to start off with, I picked up a piece of the Botanical Buzz Delicate and I cut it in half, and then I cut out the hexagon and distressed the edges of the second half, and then I put the remainder piece to one side. I then cut the vibrant paper, which comes in the kit, to a 6.5-inch strip, and then turned it over and stuck it together to create an overlap and create a 12 by 12 rather piece of paper that was spliced together with two different papers, the delicate and the vibrant. So here I am sticking the hexagon back together and sticking it back on the vibrant paper, and then I'm just showing you here that I'm using the same paper, 1.5 wide by 10 inches long, of the vibrant paper, and I'm using a piece of each side. Then I'm using one of these lovely little distress oxides which come in a kit of 4, and Janine's got all the colours, and I bought this tin to keep 3 of the sets in, and I've got another tin with the other 3 sets in as well. And then I've got my own hexagon die here, but again I know Janine at the Mad Scrapper has got plenty of dies in, and she's probably got a hexagon one there that you can use. So I'm just using that distress oxide there to create a panel within that hexagon of like honeycomb. So then I've got my photograph here that I have already matted on the muslin, My Colours by Photoplay muslin cardstock, which goes really well with the collection, and also another piece of the vibrant paper just to match the photograph. I'm then distressing the edges of my strips of paper and sticking those down. I'm sticking one to the left and slightly lower, and the other one will be slightly higher and over the right and over the join, so that sticks it all together nicely and the paper doesn't fold in half. I'm using the edge of my scissors here because I couldn't lay my hands on my Tim Holtz Distress Edger, which is what I usually use. So just adding that on there, and you can see there's a little bee and some daisies there that are quite pretty. So I raised that up so that you could see that part of the paper beyond my photograph. So there's my photograph. I'm going to raise it up on foam tape, which I shall do, and then add it over those 2 strips and then embellish. So this is the foam tape, and here I am just adding, I've added 3 pieces across the back so that it doesn't dip in the middle. I'm just popping that down there. Luckily there is a slight line on the hexagon, so it's easy to line up, so I don't think I've made it too crooked this time for once. These rub-ons came with the kit, and I've picked bits out. I've cut out the floral piece here, and also some of the hexagons and honeycomb. So I'm just trying it around to see where I want it, and I decided I'd add the flower there just next to the strips of paper and over the top of the stenciling I did, which is often the way when you do stenciling, it just sort of peeks through. I'm sorry I didn't quite line up my filming properly. I seem to have jogged something halfway through this, but I decided to still post it because I think you can get the gist of it. Again, cutting some more little bits of rub-ons here, and I'm going to add them around the photograph too. Actually, I end up covering this bit of honeycomb up, which is a bit of a shame because it's rather pretty, but never mind. So just rubbing that with my bone folder, but they often come with a wooden lolly stick, which is very good. Just making sure I've got it all, and then I'll add another little hexagon as well lower down, which actually doesn't get covered up, so that's good. Keep bobbing my head in the way because I'd knocked my camera. I don't quite know how I did that, so apologies for that. So here's the last little bit of rub-on that I'm adding. And then I've picked up my 49er Market Botanical Buzz puffy stickers. You can't see the top there, but that's what these are. And I'm going to use this title down the bottom, which is Treasured Memories. So I'm incorporating black, so I needed to add some other bits of black around the page, which I have done, and you'll see later. So the Treasured Memories peeled off nicely and stuck down as a title. And I'm just finishing the memories part off there, and because they're puffy stickers they stick really nicely, so there's no need to add additional glue, which I do with some embellishments, but these stick beautifully. There's another little bit of black hexagon honeycomb there that I've added just to bring in some black. Now I'm cutting one of the pieces of ephemera that I had with the kit, which was a tag, and I'm going to add that to the right hand side of my photograph and start using it as a base for a cluster. I've added a little ribbon to the top of that, and then I'm going to stick the ribbon in place so that it isn't loose, and I want it to be secure so that when it goes in the page protectors it's not all in the way and, you know, flopping in front of the photograph or something. So I'm now sticking that down using my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, which, although it's a wet glue, it's a very quick drying wet glue, so I find it very, very useful when I'm doing embellishing. And then I'm thinking to myself, I needed more embellishments, and although the kit does come with some more embellishments, I decided I would add some more embellishments. And first and foremost, I cut out this little doily, which was on the remainder piece of the delicate paper. I fussy cut that, and I'm going to tuck that in under the right hand side of the hexagon, and again I'm just distressing the edge lightly with the edge of my scissors, which I hate doing because it's not good for the scissors, but needs must when you're in the middle of a video. So yeah, that's that bit stuck down, and this is where I'm having a little rummage and deciding what other elements I could use. And I come across these ochre mini laser cut elements from 49 and Market, which coordinate beautifully with this collection. So I had some of those already that I've used some of, so you'll see me dipping into this quite regularly to embellish this. I start off with this little leaf, which I'm going to lay over the top of my tag. Use that as the starter for my collection, and then I pop out some flowers, and one goes particularly well with my photographs because it's yellowy white flowers with just green leaves, and my photograph has got almost the same plant in it. So I'm raising up the flower on foam pads so that it's above the leaf that I've already stuck down. So just putting the last foam pad on there. I just use foam tape and cut it to the size I want rather than buying individual pads. I find that works for me. And that's the final little flower of that cluster. And I've left the 2 rub-ons of hexagons visible down the bottom, but I have covered up the other honeycomb altogether, which was a bit of a shame, but never mind. Then I'm using another pop-out piece of the laser cut elements, which is a sort of an orchid or something, just on the top left of the photograph there. And I'm just sticking that down flat. It doesn't need to be raised up because it's the base layer, and I'm actually not going to add any more to that. So I keep that flat to the paper. And then I decide it does need something else in that top left corner. So I come back to my puffy stickers, and because I've added a black title, I want to incorporate a little bit more black. So I use a black outline of a hexagon, and then a yellow, and then a teal as well, which also just means you can still see the pretty printed bit on the delicate paper, which is the bee and the daisy, etc., or dandelion, whatever it is. As well. And then just beyond the treasured memories, just nestled in there, I've just put 3 more little puffy stickers of teal, yellow and black as well. And then I find a couple of tickets which seemed appropriate, as we'd had to pay to go into this lovely garden in the Lake District. It's a super place called Whole Herd Gardens. If you're ever in Windermere, do go and visit it. It's absolutely lovely, all run by volunteers, and it's absolutely stunning. It's a walled garden and it's just so pretty. So I put one of the tickets flat and then one on foam pads just above the photograph there on those strips. And then I'll find 2 butterflies I'm going to pick out of the collection. I stick one of them, unfortunately you can't see, but you will see it in the stills at the end, is the butterfly that I've stuck on the vibrant strip of paper. And then I go back in and I find another butterfly, which I'm going to stick just above the ribbons on my tag, which again you'll see in the stills, and also a little journaling strip of words that says my favourite days, which I add to the cluster on the right of the photograph. And there's the second butterfly that I'm just finding there. I usually bend the wings up and just put the glue on the body of the butterfly. And as I say, I'm just finding a home for it, but decided that it's going to go on the vibrant paper, so it's quite noticeable. I was really pleased with this layout, actually. You know, just sometimes you just really like a layout, and this is one of them. So I'm just doing my final touches here. A fabulous visit to Whole Herd Gardens in the Lake District. August 25 is my journaling. And then you'll see there's a tag there on the right-hand side that I used and then decided not to use it. But anyway, that's me done. Do like and subscribe. That's me saying goodbye and giving you a thumbs up. So do like and subscribe, please. I'm always after new subscribers. And these are the photos of the close-ups of my embellishments. I've added 2 more embellishments, that love and also side by side always. But that's me done for today. Do come again, and thank you for joining me now. Thank you. Bye.